At my grandson's birthday party, they asked me to sit in the kitchen. I owned the house. Sometimes the truth hides in plain sight, and people only realize it when it is almost too late. What you are about to hear is a story about family, respect, and the moment when everything changed during a simple grandson's birthday party. Before we begin, take a second to click the subscribe button so you don't miss powerful stories like this. And while you listen, tell me in the comments where you are watching from today. I love seeing people from different cities and countries joining these stories. Now let me tell you what really happened at my grandson's birthday party. My name is Grace Harper, and the day of my grandson's birthday party started earlier than anyone else expected. The house was quiet when I woke up. Morning light slipped gently through the windows of the house, and for a moment everything felt peaceful before the excitement of the birthday party would begin. I walked slowly through the living room of the house, looking at the decorations that had been carefully placed everywhere for my grandson's birthday party. Bright balloons floated near the ceiling, and a colorful banner stretched across the wall with large letters that said "Happy Birthday, Leo." Seeing those decorations made me smile because my grandson Leo Harper had been talking about his birthday party for weeks. Every day he asked about the cake, the gifts, and the games that would happen during his grandson's birthday party celebration. The smell of vanilla frosting drifted through the air, guiding me toward the kitchen. Sitting on the counter in the kitchen was the cake prepared for the birthday party. The cake was covered with blue frosting and small silver stars shining on top. In the center stood a large number 7 candle waiting for the moment when everyone would sing during the grandson's birthday party. I stood quietly in the kitchen and looked around the room. This kitchen had seen so many memories inside this house. Family dinners had been cooked here. Holiday meals had been prepared here. And many happy birthday party moments had started right here in this same kitchen. Today the kitchen was once again preparing for another celebration, my grandson's birthday party. By late morning, the quiet inside the house disappeared. Cars began arriving outside the house one after another. Guests stepped out holding colorful gift bags and balloons as they came to celebrate the grandson's birthday party. Soon the front door of the house opened again and again as friends, neighbors, and relatives walked inside. Laughter filled the living room while children ran excitedly through the hallway waiting for the birthday party games to begin. I stood near the doorway watching the house come alive during my grandson's birthday party. Seeing the house filled with people again made me feel warm inside. A grandson's birthday party always brings special joy into a home. Suddenly I heard a small voice shouting, "Grandma." I turned and saw Leo Harper running toward me wearing a bright blue party hat that kept sliding down his forehead. "Grandma Grace, did you see my cake for the birthday party?" he asked with excitement shining in his eyes. I laughed softly and hugged him. "Of course I saw it," I told him. "It might be the best cake I've ever seen at a grandson's birthday party." Leo smiled proudly and ran back toward the living room where the other children were waiting to start the games for the birthday party. Guests continued arriving at the house, and soon every corner of the living room filled with conversation and laughter as the grandson's birthday party grew more lively. Some guests walked into the kitchen to grab drinks while others stood near the decorations taking photos during the birthday party. My daughter Nina Harper moved quickly through the crowd making sure everything looked perfect for the grandson's birthday party. She greeted guests warmly and guided the children toward the game table set up for the birthday party activities. Her husband David Harper stood near the living room table arranging the gifts that had arrived for Leo's birthday party. I decided to help where I could. I carried plates from the kitchen to the dining table and made sure guests had drinks during the grandson's birthday party. I have always believed that when people gather in a house for a birthday party, they should feel welcome and comfortable. But as more guests arrived at the house, the living room began to feel crowded. Chairs filled quickly. People stood close together talking and laughing as the noise of the birthday party grew louder and louder. I walked from the kitchen toward the living room, hoping to sit down for a moment and watch Leo enjoy his grandson's birthday party. But just as I reached the doorway, my daughter Nina Harper turned toward me. She looked around the crowded room filled with guests enjoying the birthday party. Then she spoke quietly. "Mom," she said, "maybe you should sit in the kitchen for a little while. The living room is full, and the guests need space during the birthday party. For a moment I thought I had misunderstood her words. "You want me to sit in the kitchen?" I asked calmly. "Just until the birthday party settles down," she replied quickly. I looked around the house where everyone was laughing and celebrating my grandson's birthday party. Then slowly I turned and walked back into the kitchen. From the kitchen table I could still hear the laughter and music from the birthday party filling the rest of the house. But as I sat quietly in the kitchen, one simple truth stayed in my mind, a truth that nobody at the grandson's birthday party seemed to remember. The house where this entire birthday party was happening was my house. The noise of the grandson's birthday party filled the entire house, but from where I sat in the kitchen, it felt strangely far away. I could hear the laughter, the music, and the excited voices of children enjoying the birthday party, yet I was sitting alone at the kitchen table like someone who did not belong there. The smell of cake and snacks drifted through the kitchen, reminding me again that the grandson's birthday party was still going strong in the living room of the house. I folded my hands quietly on the table and listened to the sounds coming from the other room. Children were shouting happily as they played games during the birthday party. I could hear my grandson Leo Harper laughing loudly with his friends, clearly enjoying every moment of his grandson's birthday party. That sound warmed my heart because Leo was a good boy who deserved a beautiful birthday party. Still, it felt strange to sit alone in the kitchen while the birthday party continued just a few steps away. The house was full of guests. People walked through the hallway talking and laughing as they enjoyed the birthday party. Every now and then someone stepped into the kitchen to grab a drink or wash their hands before returning to the living room where the grandson's birthday party was happening. One guest walked into the kitchen holding an empty plate from the birthday party snacks. She looked surprised when she saw me sitting there. "Oh," she said politely, "are you resting in the kitchen?" I smiled gently. "Yes," I replied calmly. "I was asked to sit here during the birthday party." She looked confused but said nothing more before returning to the living room where the grandson's birthday party was still full of excitement. I could hear the music growing louder again as the children prepared for another game during the birthday party. From my seat in the kitchen, I looked around slowly. This kitchen had always been the heart of the house. Many years ago, when the house was first built, I spent hours planning how the kitchen would look. I chose the cabinets, the counters, and even the color of the walls in this kitchen. Every corner of this house held memories for me, and the kitchen held the most. That was why it felt strange sitting here quietly while the grandson's birthday party continued just beyond the doorway. The laughter from the birthday party grew louder again as someone announced it was almost time to bring out the cake. I could hear my daughter Nina Harper speaking excitedly as she organized the next part of the birthday party. "Everyone gather around," she called from the living room. "It's time for the cake at Leo's birthday party." The guests began clapping and cheering as the excitement of the grandson's birthday party reached another happy moment. Sitting in the kitchen, I could almost picture what was happening in the living room of the house. Leo was probably standing near the table smiling proudly while everyone gathered around to sing during the birthday party. The cake from the kitchen would soon be carried out to the center of the room as the highlight of the grandson's birthday party. For a moment I thought about standing up and walking back into the living room of the house to watch my grandson enjoy his birthday party. But then I remembered what my daughter had said earlier. The living room was full. The guests needed space during the birthday party. So I stayed seated in the kitchen and listened as the entire house filled with singing. "Happy birthday to you," voices echoed loudly through the house as everyone celebrated the grandson's birthday party. The sound carried clearly into the kitchen, and I smiled softly hearing the joy in Leo's voice as he laughed during the song. A grandson's birthday party should always be full of happiness, and I was glad he was enjoying his special day inside the house. After the song ended, the guests clapped loudly, and the birthday party continued with even more excitement. Children cheered as the cake was cut and slices were passed around the room during the grandson's birthday party. A few minutes later someone stepped into the kitchen carrying a plate with a slice of cake from the birthday party. They placed it gently on the kitchen table in front of me. "This is from Leo's birthday party," the guest said kindly before returning to the living room of the house. I looked at the cake sitting on the kitchen table. The same cake that had been waiting earlier in the kitchen was now being enjoyed by everyone at the grandson's birthday party. I took a small bite while listening to the laughter continuing through the house. Yet as I sat quietly in the kitchen, one thought remained clear in my mind. Everyone at the grandson's birthday party seemed comfortable enjoying the celebration in the house. But very few people there truly understood something important about this house. They did not realize that the kitchen where I was sitting, the living room where the birthday party was happening, and every wall of the house around them, belonged to me. And sooner or later, the truth about the house would become impossible to ignore. Every family story has a moment when the truth slowly begins to rise to the surface. Sometimes it happens quietly, while everyone else is busy celebrating and laughing. That is exactly what was happening during my grandson's birthday party. Before we continue, take a moment to click the subscribe button so you don't miss powerful stories like this one. These stories remind us how important respect and truth really are. And while you're listening, tell me in the comments where you are watching from. I always enjoy seeing people from different countries and cities joining these stories. Now let us continue what really happened during my grandson's birthday party. I was still sitting quietly in the kitchen while the birthday party continued in the living room of the house. The sounds of laughter and music from the grandson's birthday party filled the house, echoing down the hallway and into the kitchen where I sat alone. From the kitchen, I could hear my grandson Leo Harper laughing happily with his friends. The children were enjoying the games that my daughter Nina Harper had prepared for the birthday party. Even though I was sitting in the kitchen, hearing Leo's laughter made me smile. After all, a grandson's birthday party should always be joyful. Still, something about the situation felt strange. Sitting quietly in the kitchen while everyone else enjoyed the birthday party made me think about the past. My eyes slowly moved around the kitchen, taking in every detail of the room. This kitchen was not just a place where food was prepared. It was a place full of memories inside this house. Many years ago, before my daughter Nina Harper was even married, I stood in this same kitchen while the house was still being built. Back then, the house was nothing more than walls and wooden frames. There were no decorations, no furniture, and certainly no birthday party celebrations yet. But I had a dream for this house. I wanted it to be a warm home where family could gather for dinners, holidays, and of course many birthday party celebrations. I personally chose the design of the kitchen cabinets. I picked the color of the walls in the house. I selected the windows that would bring sunlight into the kitchen every morning. Every part of this house had been carefully planned and built with love. That was why the kitchen felt so familiar and comforting to me. It was more than just a room in the house. It was a part of my life. From the living room, the excitement of the grandson's birthday party continued. I heard my son-in-law David Harper speaking loudly while helping organize the presents that Leo had received during the birthday party. Children ran across the floor laughing and shouting as they played another game during the grandson's birthday party. The house felt alive with celebration. Yet there I was, sitting quietly in the kitchen, listening to the birthday party instead of being part of it. A few minutes later, two guests walked into the kitchen to refill their drinks. They were still talking about the grandson's birthday party. "This house is beautiful," one of them said while looking around. "It's the perfect place for a birthday party." The other guest nodded. "Yes, Nina and David did a great job hosting this birthday party," she replied. I remained silent in the kitchen, listening to their conversation. They believed my daughter and her husband were the ones responsible for the house and the birthday party happening inside it. The truth, however, was much deeper than that. This house had been mine long before the grandson's birthday party ever took place. I was the one who had purchased the land where the house now stood. I was the one who had signed every document and paid every bill connected to this house. Every brick, every wall, and every room, including the kitchen where I was sitting, belonged to me. Yet somehow during my grandson's birthday party, I had become someone who was asked to sit quietly in the kitchen while others enjoyed the house. The guests finished their drinks and left the kitchen, returning to the laughter and excitement of the birthday party in the living room. The sound of music started again as the children prepared for another activity during the grandson's birthday party. I leaned back slightly in my chair and looked around the kitchen once more. This kitchen, this house, and every celebration happening inside it had a story behind it. The grandson's birthday party might have been the reason everyone was gathered in the house that day, but the history of the house went far deeper than that. And very soon, everyone enjoying the birthday party would begin to realize the truth about the house where they were celebrating. Because the house where the grandson's birthday party was happening. The house where I had been told to sit quietly in the kitchen was not just any house. It was my house. Some moments in life start quietly and then suddenly change everything. A simple sentence, a small question, or one unexpected truth can turn an ordinary day into something unforgettable. That moment was about to happen during my grandson's birthday party. Before we continue this story, take a moment to click the subscribe button so you don't miss more powerful stories like this. And while you are listening, tell me something in the comments. Where are you watching from today? I always enjoy seeing the different cities and countries where people follow these stories. Now let us continue what really happened inside the house during my grandson's birthday party. I was still sitting quietly in the kitchen while the birthday party continued in the living room of the house. The laughter from the grandson's birthday party filled the air. Children were still running around the house, their excitement echoing through the hallway and into the kitchen where I sat today. From my chair in the kitchen, I could hear my grandson Leo Harper laughing happily with his friends. His birthday party was clearly a big success. That made me smile because a grandson's birthday party should always be full of joy. But as the birthday party continued, more guests began walking through the house. Some came into the kitchen to grab drinks or throw away paper plates from the birthday party snacks. Each time someone entered the kitchen, they seemed a little surprised to see me sitting there quietly. One woman stepped into the kitchen holding a cup from the birthday party table. She paused when she saw me. "Oh," she said politely, "are you resting in the kitchen during the birthday party?" I smiled gently. "Yes," I answered calmly. "That is where I was asked to sit." She looked slightly confused but said nothing more before returning to the living room where the grandson's birthday party was still full of laughter. A few minutes later, 2 more guests entered the kitchen. They were talking excitedly about the birthday party. "This house is perfect for a birthday party," one of them said while looking around the kitchen. "Yes," the other replied. "Nina and David really know how to host a great birthday party in this house." I remained quiet in the kitchen as they spoke. They believed that my daughter Nina Harper and her husband David Harper were the ones responsible for everything happening in the house during the grandson's birthday party. They did not know the full truth about the house. As the guests left the kitchen, the music from the birthday party started again. Children were clapping while another game began in the living room of the house. Suddenly, another guest entered the kitchen. This time it was a man I had not met before. He walked in holding an empty plate from the birthday party cake table. He looked around the kitchen before his eyes stopped on me. "Hello," he said kindly. "Are you enjoying the birthday party?" I nodded politely. "Yes, it is a lovely grandson's birthday party." He smiled and stepped closer into the kitchen. Then he asked a simple question that would soon change the atmosphere of the entire house. "Are you Leo's grandmother?" he asked. "Yes," I replied. "I am Grace Harper." His eyes widened slightly with surprise. "Grace Harper," he repeated while looking around the kitchen and then toward the living room where the birthday party was happening. "Wait, are you the owner of this house?" I nodded calmly from my seat in the kitchen. "Yes," I said. "This house is mine." The man looked shocked. For a moment he simply stood there in the kitchen, clearly surprised by what he had just learned during the grandson's birthday party. "You mean, this entire house belongs to you?" he asked again. "Yes," I replied quietly. "I have owned this house for many years." He glanced back toward the living room where the birthday party continued. The laughter from the grandson's birthday party still filled the house, but now the man looked very confused. "But I thought Nina and David were hosting the birthday party in their house," he said slowly. I shook my head gently while sitting in the kitchen. "No," I said. "They are hosting the birthday party, but the house belongs to me." The man stood silent for a moment in the kitchen, clearly trying to process what he had just heard during the grandson's birthday party. Then he slowly walked back toward the living room of the house. Within minutes, whispers began spreading through the birthday party crowd. People started talking quietly to one another as they looked around the house. Some guests even glanced toward the kitchen where I was still sitting. The joyful noise of the grandson's birthday party had not completely stopped, but something had definitely changed inside the house. The truth about the house had started to spread during the birthday party. And very soon, everyone celebrating the grandson's birthday party would realize something they had not understood before. The woman sitting quietly in the kitchen during the birthday party was the true owner of the house where the entire grandson's birthday party was happening. Some truths take time before everyone notices them. But once the truth appears, the entire room changes. That is exactly what happened during my grandson's birthday party. Before we continue this final chapter, take a moment to click the subscribe button, turn on the like button, and share this story so more people can hear stories like this. Your support helps bring more powerful stories to this channel. And while you are listening, tell me in the comments where you are watching from. I love seeing the different places around the world where people follow these stories. Now let me tell you what happened next inside the house during my grandson's birthday party. The moment the guest walked out of the kitchen, the quiet conversation he started began spreading across the house. At first, it was only a whisper between a few people during the birthday party. Then another person heard it. Then another. Soon several guests at the grandson's birthday party were glancing toward the kitchen where I was still sitting quietly. The laughter from the birthday party had not completely stopped, but something had clearly changed inside the house. People were beginning to understand the truth about the house. A few minutes later, my daughter Leo Harper walked into the kitchen. Her expression looked different than before. The confident look she had earlier during the birthday party was gone. "Mom," she said softly as she stepped into the kitchen. I looked up from the kitchen table calmly. "Yes," I replied. Leo glanced around the kitchen, then toward the living room where the grandson's birthday party was still happening. Several guests in the house were now quietly watching the kitchen doorway. "Mom," Leo said again, this time sounding nervous. "You don't have to sit here in the kitchen. You can come sit in the living room and enjoy the birthday party." I looked at her carefully for a moment. Just a short time earlier during the grandson's birthday party, she had told me to stay in the kitchen because the living room needed space for the guests. Now suddenly she wanted me to leave the kitchen and return to the center of the house. I smiled gently from my seat in the kitchen. "It's all right," I said calmly. "I'm comfortable here in the kitchen." Leo looked uneasy. She knew that the truth about the house was now spreading through the birthday party guests. Just then my son-in-law David Harper stepped into the kitchen. He had clearly heard the same whispers moving through the house during the grandson's birthday party. "Grace," he said politely, "please come join everyone in the living room. It is your grandson's birthday party, after all." I nodded slowly while sitting at the kitchen table. "Yes," I replied. "It is my grandson's birthday party." For a moment nobody in the kitchen spoke. The sounds of the birthday party continued in the living room, but now many guests were paying attention to what was happening near the kitchen. I stood up slowly from the chair in the kitchen and looked around the room. This kitchen, this house, and every celebration happening inside it held years of memories for me. Many family dinners had taken place in this kitchen. Many holidays had been celebrated in this house. And now another grandson's birthday party was taking place here. I walked slowly toward the doorway between the kitchen and the living room where the birthday party guests were gathered. The room grew quieter as people noticed me leaving the kitchen. My grandson Leo Harper was standing near the cake table still smiling after opening several gifts during his birthday party. Seeing him happy reminded me why this birthday party mattered in the first place. A grandson's birthday party should always be about joy and love. I stepped into the living room of the house and looked around at the guests who had gathered for the birthday party. Some of them smiled politely. Others looked curious. Many had already heard the whispers spreading through the house about who truly owned it. I spoke calmly so everyone at the grandson's birthday party could hear. I am glad all of you came to celebrate Leo's birthday party, I said warmly. A grandson's birthday party should always bring family and friends together inside a home. I paused for a moment and looked around the house. This house has hosted many celebrations over the years, I continued. Many dinners, many holidays, and many birthday party memories. The room remained quiet as the guests listened. And I hope this house continues to welcome family celebrations for many years, I said. Then I smiled gently. Because this house has always been my home. A few guests nodded quietly. They now clearly understood the truth about the house where the grandson's birthday party was happening. I turned toward Leo and smiled. Now, I said warmly, let's continue enjoying this wonderful grandson's birthday party. The tension in the house slowly softened. Children started laughing again. Music began playing once more. The birthday party returned to the joyful celebration it was meant to be. But one thing had changed forever inside that house. Everyone at the grandson's birthday party now understood the truth. The woman who had been sitting quietly in the kitchen during the birthday party was the true owner of the house where the entire grandson's birthday party was taking place. And sometimes, the quietest person in the house holds the greatest power of all.